It is a beautiful and serene night just before Thanksgiving. And tonight I want to talk about one of my most favorite things, my most favorite texts, and that is Logion 42 from the Gospel of Thomas. And it says, "Come into being as you pass away." When I read this for the first time, I was quite taken because I had never read anything from the Nag Hammadi texts. And those texts were something I'd heard about for years. They'd been around for a while, but I really didn't read them. And having read them, I was really surprised and delighted because I didn't know what to expect. It was a surprise. And I liked it. And the surprise was really good. And as a result, I pressed on and I got the full text of the Nag Hammadi documents and have had fun reading them. They're really big. It's 800 pages. And there's going to be a new edition coming out fairly soon, I think 24, and I'm looking forward to that. But I want to talk about this verse and how important it is to me to understand the idea of coming into being and passing away at the same time. And why it's important to me is because for most of my understanding, I have understood that the spiritual world is a transcendent world. That we are here and the heavens occur somewhere else. And I have learned, as I've gotten older, that maybe that's not quite the case. That maybe we live in a reality that's far more imminent. In other words, things are happening right here, right around us. That the heavens are here. They are in our midst, or we are in their midst. And there's a commingling, and that commingling is delightful. And it exposes us and allows us to access all kinds of delightful and wonderful things and frightening things. And so that's what coming into being as I pass away means to me. It means that I am in the process of right here and now unfolding. I am coming into my beingness. And part of my materiality, part of my presence in this world is passing away as I begin to move into other realms. And those realms aren't necessarily transcendent realms. They are realms or dimensions that I don't really understand, but are very much present. I'm beginning to really feel this quite strongly. That I'm being surrounded by all kinds of entities and things and beings, and that the reality that I occupy is well occupied by lots of other beings and other spiritual entities that I don't really have any commerce with. They are the egregores, they are the beings, or they are the entities that are not beings. They are whipped up by humankind and all sorts of spiritual energies, and they course around the earth and they do their damage. They are mischievous and difficult for humankind. But they are right here. And so these egregores, these spiritual entities that are not beings, are troublesome. They cause a lot of problems. And you can understand them in fairly simple ways, like the idea, say, of a team mascot, the Wolverine or the Badger or whatever it might be, the rooster. And so that image, that little icon, is a rallying point for the team, and that it takes on kind of an energy of its own. And that is, in a way, a kind of a egregoric construction. Now, egregores are not good constructions. They are not benevolent forces. So, make sure that you understand what it is that you're setting up in what you're doing. But egregores are defeated. They are defeated by the light of consciousness. We understand what it is that has been created, and we understand that this is not a being. It's a spiritual entity, and it can be understood as that. And you are not then suffering from its adverse effects. You can't look away. But it's an example of an eminent reality. And that's what I'm trying to say about coming into being. It's an eminence. We are emanating. We are progressing through our manifestation in a way where we are participating absolutely directly and completely in this world around us. It's not something over there or that's going to happen later after you pass, where you die and then all of a sudden everything happens. I don't think that's what this verse is saying. It's saying we are coming into being right now, and we are passing away right now. And that is a delightful thing. It's a place where we can have a vision. We can have a vantage point. That moment where we understand our coming into being and our passing away is a vantage point which we can occupy. It is a place which I feel in my bones, and I feel it in my meditations. And my meditations are meditations which occur right now. They are not meditations for later, or for some other time, or for some other occasion. They are the meditations of now, the expression of my life right now. And I really like that. And I want to pass that on to you to begin to re-understand the nature of your presence in the world we live, your manifestation, that we are surrounded by life and surrounded by all kinds of things that are part of the expression of life force. The unfolding of the cosmos is where we are right now. It's not going to happen later. I know that there's a lot of eschatology and where people are talking about the end times and the latter days and all that stuff. And it well may be, but the reality is we're here right now. This is what we're doing now. We are coming into being right now. We are passing away right now. And that all around us is the manifestation of the cosmos in its fullness. There's nothing that I think is unavailable to us. It's right now. And however much of it we want to embrace and engage, I think we can. I know that I've gotten a big portion. I've been very lucky. And so my portion has been energizing and has given me a lot of encouragement to the fact of my own presence here. And that I am important right now. Right now, it's here. I'm here. And so that's my meditation that I would like to pass on for you. To meditate on the fact of your coming into being as you are passing away in this very instant. That the cosmos is in action right now. I can't find anything that would be more ecstatic in a way than to understand the participation that we have in this. It's magnificent. It's absolutely magnificent. And the idea that the divine realities are immanent around us. They are everywhere. They are not for later. They are not transcendent things which can only be understood in some other level, or in some other way, or some other theology, or some professor's got to explain it to you. I don't think that's it. I think the ability to experience an eminent divinity is really powerful. And I think in our meditations, in my meditations, I want to claim onto that more, to be able to see more of that eminence. And of course, the easy examples would be, going for a walk in the woods, or meditating in the woods, or finding a park bench. And in that meditation, try and figure out all of the beings that might be present around us, and what are they doing in this woodland. It's very important to understand that the first temple, a lot occurred in the groves, in the forests and groves. And there were monuments created. And I mean that very carefully. I don't mean idols. I meant monuments. Places to demark or to signify events that are events of connection and understanding and cooperation, because that's the essence of the divine is cooperation. And the whole purpose of coming into being and passing away in the context of an immanent reality of divinity is about cooperation. How can we cooperate with the divine to allow the universe to enhance the expansion of the cosmos in a way where we are cooperating? That's our job. That's my job. That's the one I want. So I leave you with that for tonight in this beautiful evening, as perhaps you might try a night meditation, night work. It's fun stuff. So I hope you will have a look at the Gospel of Thomas, Logion 42, and enjoy. And also, I want to add as a final thought, in all of the writings of Nag Hammadi, and there are lots of them, throughout the texts, you see salted in there, placed in there very carefully, is the phrase, come into being. It's kind of a little flecks of gold that occur in the texts, and they occur over and over again. And as I read, I see that phrase popping up, and it warms my heart, because it means that those scribes, those authors of the early texts, they knew, they had an understanding of exactly what was going on. And they could sense their own ability to come into being, and that it was happening. So I think it's a fun thing to recognize that being is happening and participate in it and be ecstatic for it. Amen.